What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Connor Speed6. Today we're back in Forza Horizon 5, moving on to the winter season, and with a new season, of course, comes an all-new car and an all-new playlist. Now, in the car pass this week, we have probably one of the most prolific vehicles ever built of all time, and that would be the 2018 Ferrari FXX Evo. Now, this car is quite literally and has been compared to a Formula 1 car. So what I want to do is jump in this, take a look at the tune that I have, and then take it for a rip around one of these events in the game. So first thing I want to take a look at here is the paint that I have on this car. It is done by a friend of mine called PTG STUZIB85. He is a massive fan of Formula 1 and especially Ferrari. He has actually put together a 2021 SF F1 paint here in the game for the FXX Evo, and it's absolutely perfect. If you look at this thing, it is just nailed. The paint colors, the graphics, the details, the logos, they're all just absolutely perfect. I've got PTG STUZIB85's gamer tag in the pinned comment and description down below, as well as on screen right now. As for the upgrades and tuning, unfortunately, there's really not much you can do because this car already comes S2 998. The only thing you can do is install the all-wheel drive swap, and that drops your PI about 10. Then from there, you can go and update tires, update wheels, tire width, add more power, add transmission, etc. So there's a bunch of different things you can do. However, I left it exactly as it comes in the game with rear wheel drive and the stock engine. I didn't do really any upgrades at all. All I did is simply go in here, take the car for a spin a little bit, test it out, tune it, and make sure that it is an absolute grip beast in rear wheel drive. Now, my tune on this car is available. It is, again, S2 998 rear wheel drive with 1036 horsepower on the stock engine. So it's, again, no different than what you get from the car pass download. However, it is much easier to drive and a little bit quicker because of the gear ratios and some of the tuning adjustments I've made for handling. So let's get this thing out on the road. First of all, take it for a little cruise, and then we'll hop into an event and see how it does. So the sound on this car compared to real life is a little bit disappointing, but it still sounds pretty damn good for being in a game. Again, it's rear wheel drive, of course, so you have to be very careful in first gear and second gear depending on the type of corner. But again, we get to 200 miles per hour, over 200 miles per hour pretty easily, and get around these corners way easier than you would expect, especially in a rear wheel drive car. Very grippy. It's a little bit touchy, of course, because that's kind of the way you have to tune these cars, just to make sure you have the proper turn in and the grip throughout the corner. But yeah, very good, not only under acceleration, but under braking as well, and throughout the middle of the corner. It handles the grip pretty well and has a pretty decent lateral grip load, I guess, whenever you're putting the power through, or whenever you're really powering through these corners at high speeds. Download this rear wheel drive tune. Let me know what you think about it in the comments down below. I will try to get an all-wheel drive tune built soon, but I really didn't want to drivetrain swap this because it really is and feels like an F1 car. I'm not gonna lie. This is no exaggeration. It's just really ridiculously good, ridiculously grippy. I'd be intrigued to see how this does in an online lobby. I'm not ready to take this into one yet. I just want to see how it runs really quickly in just a general event. Maybe a rivals lap or something like that here. But let's jump into an event to see what we can get done. All right, so what we'll do is we'll run up here to the Copper Canyon Sprint and see how this FXX Evo does. We'll just run it really quickly on sort of a time trial event, no rivals. We're not going to race against any type of drivatars or anything like that. We will just see how this thing handles basically just overall. Now, I'm assuming that all-wheel drive is going to be better in this car just for a couple reasons. Number one, it drops PI so you can add more horsepower. Number two, you can add a different transmission, maybe the 7 or 8 speed race transmission, which I believe the 8 speed race transmission weighs a lot less than the stock transmission. So that's going to help acceleration and top end and some handling. So I would assume that with some adjustments and tuning and some modifications, if you swap in all-wheel drive, it is going to be faster. I know that probably for a fact, I could say, because first of all, the car is ridiculously slow off the line just due to the amount of wheel spin it has. because it's over 1,000 horsepower to the rear tires alone. I will have, again, an all-wheel drive build shared for this as well. That way you guys can download one or the other or both and test them out and see which one you like best. But hey, for now, let's take a look at this event and see how the car does. So we're gonna have a lot of spin. Initially off the line, so maybe throttle it just a little bit. Get into second gear around 70 miles per hour. That way it helps you put the power down a little bit quicker, but you don't bog down by shifting too early into second gear from first. I do have braking line on. I'm not super familiar with this event. Very fast sweeping corners. I know this corner here is very difficult, especially going that way. Long sweeping corners throughout this entire event. That's kind of why I chose it, just to really showcase that this car can switch direction pretty good. It's very, very quick. I don't want to say very, very quick. It's definitely not going to be quicker than some of your all-wheel drive builds and things like that, but it's very, very rapid in the sense that it can carry speed throughout these corners with ease. I mean, I'm not struggling. I'm not even full lock. I'm literally tapping the joystick, you know, to turn. It's really good. I think you guys are going to love it. I'm really going to try to put together a nice all-wheel drive build. Like I said, maybe that can be competitive online and in Rivals, but this rear-wheel drive build's definitely not going to be very competitive in Rivals. Just because, you know, again, all-wheel drive builds are sort of goat, especially on these sprint races. Now, if I'm doing a circuit Rivals event, I can just basically run the second lap or a flying lap without, you know, being at a standstill at the start. So the grip and rear-wheel drive would come in handy then. But I think overall, an all-wheel drive build with more power is going to be a little bit better. But again, this is quite literally a Formula One race car in Forza Horizon 5. It's crazy. I urge you to get on YouTube and search some videos of this car in real life, because it sounds like an absolute demon flying down the track. If I remember correctly, these are only track spec cars, and they can't really be driven on the roadways if I remember right. But we're gonna go over the line here into 212. That's probably pretty slow, honestly. I think the fast times with some of my friends on my friends list on Rivals are about 2 minutes, 3 seconds. You have to remember though, we lose a lot of time at the start, but again, overall, insanely grippy car. Quite literally a F1 car in Forza Horizon 5. It's amazing, and it looks spectacular. Shout out to PTG STUZIB85 for this paint. He's nailed it again. So I actually decided to just hop over to, like I said, the hub and build an all-wheel drive tune for this car and an all-wheel drive version of this car. So I've done that, and I'm actually pretty happy with the build itself. Let's run over really quickly to the Hotel Castillo and take a look really fast at this build. Just to see how good it is in all-wheel drive. So like I said earlier, I didn't do the all-wheel drive swap, of course, initially, but I did this time. That dropped the PI by, I think, 10 or so. After that, what I did is I widened the rear tire. That actually dropped 1 PI as well. I left the front tire the stock width. After that, I put on the heavier OZ wheels. That added 51 pounds and dropped, I believe, 2 PI on the car itself. Then I made the front and rear wheels just a little bit bigger. That again dropped some PI. I decided to upgrade the front track width all the way as wide as possible because I had to actually fill 1 PI gap, and this did it. The rear spacers are all the way out as well. After that, there's only so much more you can do. I installed the 7-speed race transmission, the race differential. There's no suspension or braking upgrades or anything like that. After that, it's just some upgrades for power. Here, I actually left the intake stock and upgraded everything else to the race level. So everything is maxed out with the exception of the intake. So now the car sits at 1,127 horsepower, which is up almost 100 full horsepower than it was on the previous rear-wheel drive build. Now, I am going to have this all-wheel drive tune shared as well. So again, if you'd like to use either of these tunes, be sure to search my gamertag ConnorSpeed6 and let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Let's run back over here to the Copper Canyon Sprint. I'm gonna run this event again and see if I can beat a 2 minute and 12-second time. Okay, so you're going to see immediately this car is going to skirt off the line much faster than we did in the previous build. It does have, of course, wheel spin in first gear. but that's just because of the amount of horsepower we have going to all 4 tires. I do have this split to 70% on the rear differential, so it is still basically like a rear-wheel drive build, but of course we've got the front wheels helping us out a little bit as well. Let's see if I can do this without bending it and put together actually a pretty clean time, or pretty fast time. Ooh, yeah, it lacks a little bit of the turn-in like the rear-wheel drive car had, but it's still very, very good. It handles, it turns in pretty well. So I think you guys are gonna like this build as well. I absolutely love it. Like I said, it feels like a damn F1 car. It shouldn't feel this good, but it does. As you see there, we lost a little bit on the middle of, or through the middle of the corner. It wanted to push just a little bit. Oh, took that one nicely. I love this event. Actually, you know what? I love racing this track by myself. I really don't like racing this against drivatars or online, because, dude, there are so many corners where it can go wrong at any given point, and anyone can push you into a barrier, a tree, a post, anything, especially when you're going through the section with the railroad tracks on the bridge. It's very, very tough in online racing, especially. All right, so here we are. We're moving on pretty well. Feels good. Like I said, it doesn't really feel a whole lot different or worse. That was my fault on the late braking there, not the car's fault. Just missed the braking point. We're coming towards the end of the event now. 85% through it, it looks like. I don't know if I'm actually going to beat the 212 or not, but it's going to be pretty darn close. Probably should have dropped it into 4th gear there. Oh yeah, we're 2 seconds up. On the first run in the all-wheel drive build, we are 2 seconds faster. What's crazy though is the all-wheel drive build, even though it has more horsepower, didn't give me a whole lot more on the top end. I don't know if that's just my gearing or what, but that's really all I could get out of it. But 2 seconds, if you think about it, was probably just lost on the acceleration at the start, so the rear-wheel drive build may be the one that you should go to if you're doing rivals on like a circuit event. However, on these sprints and online, I would definitely recommend the all-wheel drive just for that peace of mind and to know that, hey, I'm probably not going to spin out and completely ruin my race here. But there you have it, everybody. Again, both of these tunes are shared and are available for download, so if you do decide to try them out, just let me know your thoughts. Again, my gamer tag is ConnorSpeed6. But I really appreciate you guys watching. I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like, drop me a positive comment down below, and if you're new to my channel, please be sure to subscribe for more weekly content like this. We are on a tear to get to 10,000 subscribers, and my goal for 2022 is 20,000 subscribers. So please do me just one solid favor, hit the like button and subscribe. That means so much more than I could ever express in words. But thank you for watching. As always, I have been ConnorSpeed6. Until next time, much love, everyone. See you soon.